Next time on Ding Dong Games. You know what? Screw the usual 3-minute intro. Let's just start this advanced Nuzlocke straight away. This time I'm Nuzlocking Pokemon Liquid Crystal, a ROM hack that remakes the original Crystal, but with a Gen 3 engine instead. Very similar to the ROM hack Pokemon Crystal Dust, which I have made a video on. This game is pretty much Crystal, but in Gen 3 instead, and unlike Crystal Dust, this ROM hack is fully complete, making it a very enjoyable and honestly a very underrated ROM hack. However, unlike Crystal Dust, which just tries to remake the original Crystal as accurately as possible, where the only differences in that ROM hack were the Gen 3 mechanics like abilities and EVs and such, Liquid Crystal does take a few liberties with the original game, and while it's mostly the same game as Crystal and still a pretty faithful remake, there are quite a few new features. Hoenn Pokemon are included this time around. New characters, rivals, villains, plot points and side quests and a lot of post-game content have been added to this game. The Orange Islands are now explorable in the post-game and is its own region, which is really cool. The difficulty has been modified noticeably, and there are many great new quality of life changes. The most notable is how the game actually has the Generation 4 physical special split, which is so nice to see. This is such a welcome change that really improves the balance and gameplay experience, buffing many weaker Pokemon. Well, I know which starter I'm choosing now. Totodile was so gimpy in its original generation, with this awful move pool and counterintuitive stats, but now it gets to use stab physical water moves. This starter definitely benefits the most from this change. The physical special split made Totodile go from this to this. Awesome. So now that I've got my starter, I can start this Nuzlocke run. Honestly, the game looks great. I really like the updated graphics and the interface during battles is aesthetically pleasing. So far this game looks really nice. Today I'll be doing another advanced Nuzlocke, which is basically a Nuzlocke with extra restrictions. Same as usual, no items are in the bag during battle and set mode only. This game does have increased difficulty and altered teams, with new villains and enemies added in. Because I am entering this game completely blind, I need to be careful and not let my guard down, as this game is noticeably harder than the original Crystal. But anyways, now that I've got my starter, I'm now ready to start this Nuzlocke. Will I complete this advanced challenge? Well, let the Nuzlocke begin! The first 3 Pokemon I catch in a Nuzlocke are Hoothoot, Rattata and Pidgey, and get used to encountering these Pokemon a whole lot. While there are Generation 3 Pokemon, there aren't too many of them in the Johto region, so the variety of wild Pokemon isn't that high. At least this Rattata had an adamant nature, which is the best nature you could possibly get for it. With that I start to grind. I notice that the trainers in the nearby routes are significantly higher level than usual, and that the levels just keep on escalating, so I do a good amount of grinding to prepare for this. One pretty annoying feature of Liquid Crystal is that this game has a Generation 5 XP mechanics, which is basically where the higher the level difference between you and your opponent, the less XP you gain. This is pretty annoying as it makes grinding a lot slower than usual, which is one of the biggest problems with this game. The grinding process in this game is pretty obnoxious and it takes a lot longer than it does in other games. But after I finish my first grinding session, I proceed to the next area. And that is where things start to get interesting, as we get to see some of the original content. I get jumped by one of the new rival characters added to this game, Zane, who to be honest is kind of just similar to Silver, but I beat his Porygon. Then in the cave I get a Geodude, which you will want. Yeah, the trainers in this route are already starting to escalate in levels. Another annoying problem with this game is that Liquid Crystal does not work properly on no GBA emulator, which is my go-to emulator to use. This game has to be played on Visual Boy Advance. The problem is that no GBA on my laptop can fast forward by a whopping 1000%, while VBA can only go like 250% max, which makes grinding even longer as you can't fast forward a game nearly as much as I could on no GBA. This game will have a lot of grinding, which is one of the big flaws with this game, so keep that in mind. Anyways, I catch a Zubat in the Sprout Tower, then start preparing for the first gym. I'm not sure what the gym leader's packing, so I estimate by getting my whole team to level 15 just to be safe after clearing the tower. I challenge Faulkner, and the battle starts off really easy as Geodude just puts in work, and surprisingly he's only got 2 Pokemon. Looks easy, right? It's a really big far cry from Fire Red Omega and Renegade Platinum where every gym leader has 6 Pokemon. But then Faulkner's ace comes out, a level 17 Pidgeotto which doesn't look too threatening, but my team was barely able to handle this, especially since Gust and Mudslap are both special in this game, hitting Geodude much harder. This was a tight battle. I'll show you what happened. I was frighteningly close to getting swept by this Pidgeotto. I was not ready for that, but thankfully I got by unscathed. One more critical hit and my team would have probably fallen apart, but I catch more Pokemon, and this is getting rough. The trainers scale pretty quickly in level, and you have to continue to grind to get past them. After a few more close calls, at least Totodile evolves, which is a big help. Hey, there's this new side quest here that got added where I have to find this kid's lost doll. But anyways, I do another grinding session after catching this Oddish, which I do add to the team. At least these Beedrills in the forest give loads of XP. I return to the forest and... what? I get challenged by the other new rival of the game, Axel. He says he wants to talk to me, but then immediately triggers a battle. It's kinda strange. But oh man, this guy's actually packing heat on his team. His Pokemon have usable moves and are way stronger than the other trainers. I like these new rival battles. Oh yeah, another thing to note is that for some reason, most of the game's cities and towns are raining for some reason. This makes certain Pokemon way more threatening, and honestly, I thought this was a bit obnoxious as you'll see later on. After you beat Axel, he just compliments you then walks off. That was kinda weird. The crazy thing is that right after this battle, the OG Rival Silver battle gets automatically triggered right after you beat Axel, and you have to battle him straight away without being able to heal up your team. I did freak out a bit, but this battle ends up being easy because the Chikorita line kinda sucks in this game. After that I get the squad to level 22, I utterly destroy Bugsy with my Golbat. I almost fell asleep during that battle. I did catch a Mankey with a good nature, which I did use quite a bit later on in the run. Now I need to prepare for Whitney. The good news is that Golbat evolved at level 26, and with that I removed Pidgeotto from my party as Crobat is just a better flying type. Now that my team is level 26, I challenge Whitney. I'm ready for shenanigans now that I've got Graveler in my team as it counters Miltank really easily. This time Whitney leads off with her Miltank and its level 25 is pretty strong, and it could have actually one-shotted my Mankey with a critical hit, which in hindsight I should not have risked that. But it's fine, I just switch in Graveler and Graveler wrecks her team. It walls her Miltank like nothing. Most of the gym leaders in this game are actually unchanged, they're just higher leveled for the most part. On the way to the next gym, I trigger this new plot event where I get introduced to one of the new villain teams, Team Saturn, which is pretty interesting. They are kind of just your run-of-the-mill bad guys, and now I've got to backtrack to New Barktown and battle some Saturn grunts. Look at these guys! Look! What the hell are they wearing?
Look! What the fuck is this?
They go down easy. Axel tells us that him and Team Saturn come from a completely different region called the Uka region, and that these bad guys are after the Lati twins. Well, that's something at least. I don't mind this extra content to be honest, but moving on. I ran into Silver again and he's no threat at all as I counter him really easily. Now, one really important thing I forgot to mention is that, just like the original Crystal, this game's AI is awful. Just garbage. Not only do 99% of the enemy Pokemon in this game have really bad level up moves with no TMs, like this Nidoqueen here, who uses Tail Whip and Poison Sting, but the AI is also idiotic and is nonsensical with its move choices. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about later on. After catching this Magnemite and training to about level 29, I challenge Morty. I am wary of his Gengar, as I know it's got Mean Look and Special Shadow Ball, which is a big threat. But it turned out that Crobat literally swept his team like nothing by just spamming Bite. Yup, that just happened. The good thing is that Bite is now physical in this game, which is also really good for Croconaw. 4 badges already. So I move on and gain some levels. My starter is now fully evolved, and just look at this sprite.
Oh, you touch my tra-la-la. My ding-ding-dong.
But things start to escalate here. As I'm about to unlock Jasmine's gym, Axel asks me for a battle. The good news is that you're actually allowed to refuse the battle, but I decided to accept it anyways. By the way, both of the new rival themes here are really nice. They're also low-key the best battles of the game. As you can see, the rival team actually has a decent move pool and even has held items, making them much tougher than the laughably easy gym leaders. Things really do escalate when Axel's shell gun comes out and starts using Dragon Dance. Oh god, now this thing's a monster. It got really dicey, but I was just able to take it out without casualties. Had Shellgun gone the critical hit with Double Edge, Crobat would have gotten wrecked. Phew, that was tense. Time to heal up. But right after that, now Zane wants a battle, and that was another close call. His Lapras was a huge threat, as it's higher level than me, and nothing on my team could switch into a rain boosted Surf. The perma rain in most of these towns is a bit obnoxious, as this Lapras is now way more threatening. But after a bunch of switching, Feraligatr manages to beat Lapras by spamming Leer then using Bite, which is a pretty weird strategy to use. If only I had better physical moves on Feraligatr. That Lapras was a massive pain, but this could have gone worse. After those 2 tough rival battles, I now need another grinding session to catch up in level. Unfortunately, I stupidly had my first casualty. Gloom got knocked out by a critical hit. To be honest, this was my fault for underestimating flipping Gyarados of all Pokemon, but I let my guard down as the AI has been so bad in this game, though it did come down to that critical hit. After a long grinding session, which was not very fun to do, I challenged Chuck, and this battle was super straightforward. Use Leer on Poliwrath twice with Feraligatr, then switching Crobat and sweep the rest of his team. Easy. I do have to replace my Falling Gloom unfortunately. However, I encountered a Horsey, which was exactly what I was looking for, as Kingdra is a very solid Pokemon for a Nuzlocke run. I check its IVs at this new NPC, and they're pretty good. I do some grinding, which is really starting to get tiresome to do, especially with the Gen 5 XP system. Grinding the whole team by 3 levels takes way longer than it should, but eventually I make it to Jasmine and I challenge her. It turned out that my Feraligatr has almost literally perfect IVs in every stat, which is insanely good. Damn. The fact that Feraligatr has a defense boosting nature with max IVs makes it a super physical tank. Also, I noticed that Jasmine has a Magneton on her team this time around. And she's down. I catch more Pokemon that I never end up using, then I do some exploration, and man, I was so surprised with this game. It's at this point where Liquid Crystal really opens up. So many brand new areas have been added to this ROM hack, which become accessible when you get Surf. I found a bunch of new caves and islands, like this forest area, this island that had a leaf stone which is so useful, as a normal crystal you cannot get any in Johto. Then there's this other exclusive area with new trainers and this NPC who gave me a Cyndaquil. Oh baby. There's also many other hidden areas, and that's just in the Johto region, which I thought was so nice. It was so fun exploring these new never before seen places. It really adds to the exploration and content in Liquid Crystal. And by the way, this is only the first region. But after I'm done exploring, I continue on with the game and catch the red Gyarados, which I decided not to use as Dragon Dance Gyarados with physical waterfall would absolutely trivialise this game. Now the difficulty really starts to drop again, as Feraligatr flexes on every single Team Rocket member in Mahogany Town. Then after another grinding session, I challenge Bryce. I thought that level 43 would be a fair level, but this wasn't even necessary, as Primeape just one-shotted his whole team. That was anticlimactic. Hey, he's got a Glalie in his team. Be gone. He does give you a free cast form afterwards with a Water Stone, which I really ended up needing. The stone, not the cast form. The Team Rocket puzzle underneath the radio tower took me a stupidly long time to solve. I did trivialise Silver again. His team sucks ass. But on the way to the last gym, Zane pulls up and wants another rematch. I enjoy the new rival battles, as they're not a complete cakewalk this time. Especially as this Breloom gets a critical hit and destroys my Primeape in one hit. I was not happy about this. I really wanted to keep my Primeape, as it has the elemental punching moves for great coverage. To be honest, I should have switched out into Crobat, but I never expected a critical hit here of all places. Drats. Zane gets a boot for that. Before I can proceed, I have to do this new legendary Pokemon event regarding Suicune, where I have to solve puzzles and go back in time to find the clear bell. And yes, you heard me, I go back in time so I can get the clear bell, complete a trial and battle Suicune, who I just knock out. That was actually pretty cool. I like some of these new plot events that Liquid Crystal added. Outside the final gym, there's this new NPC who has a really strong team, and her Espeon could have destroyed my Feraligatr with a critical hit. Well, at least that went my way. At this point I catch a Teddiursa with an attack boosting nature, and I decide to replace Raticate with it as Ursaring is just stronger. One really important thing that I forgot to mention is that for some reason, when using the EXP share, both of your Pokemon get the full amount of XP, effectively doubling your XP and EV gain, which is so convenient. Grinding still takes quite a while, but this was a big convenience. With that, I grind for the last gym. This time I did overdo the leveling a bit, and Claire was really easy. Apart from her Kingdra, she's no threat. And with that, I now have all 8 gym badges and can go to the Johto League. This is pretty exciting. But before that, I have to do this new plot event where Team Saturn have taken over Dragon's Den. I go through this new secret entrance and have to battle a load of Team Saturn grunts, but at the end I reach the Saturn boss, along with the Lati twins. Oh man, the plot thickens. Some weird plot stuff happens, then I beat the boss, who looks a lot like Lieutenant Surge. Then I battle Latias. Oh god, it's level 50, and damn, Psychic dealt a lot of damage. Jesus Christ, I one-shot it! The power! For chasing out Team Saturn from the Dragon Den, this NPC gives me a Dratini, and teaches it extreme speed, which is so nice. With that, I am now ready to go through Victory Road and finish the main game. I decided to add Dratini to my team as my 6th Pokemon. I'm surprised at this trainer in Victory Road. He actually has a good moveset in his Pokemon. Imagine that. However, another tragedy occurred in this battle. This Alakazam got a critical hit on my Golem and destroyed it in one hit. What the hell, this is my 3rd death, and all of them so far were the critical hits. Man, you gotta hate RNG sometimes. Goodbye Golem. But it's okay, I replace it with Cyndaquil, who's pretty nice to have. The only problem is that I've got to grind Cyndaquil all the way to level 46 before evolving it, so I can learn Flamethrower earlier, cause God forbid you can actually get good TMs in this game. I also never knew that in this game, Seadra evolves by using a Water Stone, so there's that. Kingdra's awesome. Before I'm ready, I spend several hours grinding my team in Victory Road, which was not fun in the slightest. It got really boring really fast. This was so tedious to do. God, I hated the slow grinding. I did demolish Silver, who was once again a complete joke, barely even worth showing. But after another hour of fast forwarded grinding, I finally get my whole team to level 55, and am now ready to face the Elite Four, with a strong Dragonite on a squad. I prepared by buying some TMs. One thing that was really obnoxious was that there's this move tutor in Goldenrod City, who can teach Dragon Claw, which sounds amazing for Dragonite, right? Especially as it's now a physical move. Well, it turns out that if you say no to the NPC just once, he'll never ask you again if you want to learn Dragon Claw. What the hell, that's so dumb. It's so annoying. I can't use any good stab moves on Dragonite, I guess. Regardless, I go to challenge the Johto League with my team, as prepared as it can be. This is it. The final battle. In the main game anyway. There's literally like 2 new regions to explore right after this, which sounds crazy. But now it's time to finish the Johto League. I don't know what levels to expect from the league, but I'm not scared. Come at me. Jesus Christ, that first battle was so clutch. That Xatu was hexing me like crazy, what the hell? And I almost lost my Typhlosion. Almost. God, that was so tense, and it's only the first battle. I'm not even over leveled, I'm actually under leveled. I think I'm in for a challenge. Well, that was an interesting Elite Four challenge. What the hell even was this? I'm dumbfounded over what just went down. Like how Crobat used Fury Cutter. Of all the moves it could have ran, it decided to run fucking Fury Cutter. Even at my low level, this battle was a joke. So anticlimactic.
What are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing?
Regardless, I am now the new Johto champion, and have completed the main game portion of Liquid Crystal. But wait, in Liquid Crystal, beating the Elite Four is only the beginning. I'm not joking, this is like only half of all the content there is in this game. It's crazy how much stuff there is to do in this ROM hack. There's Johto, Kanto, the Orange Islands, maybe even the Sevi Islands, I'm not too sure about that. Many new quests regarding the new villain teams, Mount Silver, the Elite Four rematch, and even more stuff to do that I haven't mentioned yet. I've got my work cut out for me in this ROM hack. Well, let's get started. Straight away, the first thing that happens in the postgame is I get challenged by Brendan. Yes, this just happened, and he's the champion of Hoenn now. I was a bit nervous about what was going to happen, but as soon as I saw that the Shiftry used Pound, flipping Pound, I knew that Brendan was lame, so I chewed up his whole team. His final Swampert was the only threat, but it still went down. Okay, now I've got access to Kanto and I start exploring. By the way, I've never actually gotten this far into a Johto game before, so this is like a new experience for me. I never actually played Heart Gold or Soul Silver. But so far, Nothing here even remotely challenges me. Lieutenant Surge is the first to feel my wrath. I go to Saffron City, and there's this new storyline I start, where Team Saturn are trying to take over Kanto now that Team Rocket is gone, and I've got to stop them. I start off by clearing out the Sylph Tower, which was easy, but for God's sake, this puzzle sequence was so obnoxious, it took me literally 30 minutes to get past it. But eventually I clear out Team Saturn and they run away. Then after that, Sabrina is next to feel my wrath. She was a complete joke, but weirdly enough, there was a trainer in that same gym who had a level 64 Slowbro. If only Sabrina was that strong, it might have actually been a bit of a challenge. Now, because of some new roadblocks added in Saffron City, I have to go through Celadon City into Fuchsia City to progress the plot. So I do that, but I run into Zane again for another rematch. The battle got off to a really tense start as my Typhlosion was rendered useless by the Permarain, forcing me to switch out, and this Lapras was really threatening. Nothing on my team could switch into its Ice Beam, Surf, Thunderbolt coverage, especially with the Permarain. I seriously thought I was going to lose my Ursaring, but for some inexplicable reason, Lapras did not use Surf to finish it off. I was surprised, but I definitely wasn't complaining. It's because of this that the inexplicable Permarain is really annoying, but with Lapras down, the rest of Zane's team gets wrecked. Wait, what is this dialogue? Man, how edgy and butthurt can you get? Just chill, bro. Moving on, Erica gets vaporized in 5 seconds. Janine was trying to postpone the inevitable, but she too got the boot. I wasn't able to catch this level 50 static encounter, which sucked, but now I've got to clear Team Saturn from the radio tower, which I do with extreme ease. But at the end, this really funny cutscene happens, where Silver busts in with some Team Rocket grunts, and apparently he's the new leader of Team Rocket, and he's also the son of the leader of Team Saturn? He then proceeds to shit talk a lot, then everyone just leaves. The dialogue was funny because it was so wacky and out of nowhere. Well, at least Silver's doing something here. After that, Axel wants another rematch, so I destroy him much more easily this time. So far, I'm just destroying the post-game. Well, guess what? Just when I thought this game was a breeze, something ridiculous happened. I triggered this battle here, and it's against the developer? Wait, like the actual developer of the game? What? I saw that his team was surprisingly strong, and for once the AI wasn't that bad, so I was pretty stoked for this battle. That wasn't a complete snooze fest. Also, the music that plays here is just amazing. So epic. This battle wasn't too hard, but the end was really clutch as my Crobat barely survived this turn, and my Typhlosion tanked an Earthquake from a Metagross. But I won, with my team intact. That was a pretty cool battle. I am beat up and now I need to heal up. Wait, no! What are you doing? I don't want to battle again. I didn't even get a chance to heal up. What the hell? This is so stupid. 2 boss battles in a row. The first guy had Perma Sandstorm to whittle down my team, and this other developer is even harder. Oh god. Being forced into battle. Again. I have to win here and now. I can't lose any of my precious Pokemon, which I spent hours upon hours grinding. Come on. This was by far the hardest battle of the Nuzlocke so far. It was mental. I won, but at what cost? Half my team is dead, the better half at that. Feraligatr is finally dead. I can't believe this. This battle was so cheap. 2 battles back to back that are triggered without warning, without letting you heal up at all. But now, I'm screwed. I can't carry on the game with only 3 Pokemon on my team. Every other Pokemon in my PC is very low level. All the wild Pokemon are level 30 at max anyways, and it would literally take days upon days of grinding to get 3 new Pokemon up to level 65. That is just not an option for this run. I would lose my mind doing so. This seriously pissed me off as I hated grinding in this game. But I found a potential solution to this problem. I can simply re-challenge the Pokemon League and use the overpowered EXP share to grind up my weaker Pokemon. Sweet! After all, the Elite Four aren't even souped up yet, and my level 65s can surely destroy them with ease, over and over again. So I pick 3 new Pokemon, then proceed to grind against the Elite Four. However, as I found out with the Gen 5 XP system, this is still turning into a complete drag to do, and would still take hours of grinding. Oh, for God's sake. This game. Remember Renegade Platinum? Yeah. The process got really boring really quick. But oh no, something happened. Guess what? I was so bored that I completely forgot that this Gengar could use Destiny Bond, which it used to KO my Ursaring. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This is the end now. With that, I have failed the Nuzlocke. Without Ursaring, I cannot beat Lance again. And now this is the final battle. With that, the Advanced Nuzlocke run has ended. To be honest, it was probably for the best. As much as I really enjoyed this game, the grinding process was infuriating, and it only gets worse and worse late game, where eventually you have to fight level 90 villain grunts at the Orange Islands, which is just madness. Grinding to that level would take days on its own, which is just painful to do. I will say that it was also really frustrating how the game's AI was just awful, but then all of a sudden you have to fight 12 strong Pokemon back to back, with Sandstorm and healing items? That felt a bit cheap to be honest. But overall, despite these 2 big flaws, I did have an absolute blast with Pokemon Liquid Crystal, and think that this game was still really enjoyable to play through. Yes, the game had some flaws, but the things that I did right, it did very well, with a vast amount of exploration, which I never even got to reach. Beware of Nuzlocke in this game, as the grind can be infuriating, but for a normal playthrough however, that is not a problem. So overall, I recommend this game to you. And that concludes the video. Join me for my next video. I'm not too sure what it will be yet. I might do a video about Bloodborne, yes Bloodborne, or I might do another Pokemon video. But don't worry, I'll still be pumping out Pokemon videos for you guys regularly enough. Hope you guys enjoyed Liquid Crystal, and this is Ding Dong, signing out.